Hey guys, it's Sean Strickland with Poison Spider Remuda and training in Christoval, Texas. Today we're going to be working on teaching a colt how to hobble break. I had a request the other day after doing one of the videos, and a guy reached out to me and he said, hey, I've always wanted to teach my horse how to be hobble broke, but I'm a little bit nervous to do it. He was a little scared that he might hurt his horse, or he just maybe didn't know about the right steps to go about hobble breaking your horse. Today we're going to be working with a yearling colt. This is a little gelding here. His registered name is Trailer Trash, aka Pete. He is a son of NCHA freshman sire, Cool and Hot, and his dam is Pepto's Pink Dot. This will be a futurity hopeful in a couple years. I own this horse. I will start him next year. Basically all he's had done is haltered. He's been tied up and he's been working this round pen a little bit, not much, just kind of letting him grow, but he's the only horse I have right now that's not hobble broke. So that's what we're going to work on today, is getting him hobble broke. The benefits of hobbling a horse. Several benefits, not just to the hobbles, but just a horse learning to stand still. One of the things I like, let's say for example you're out in the pasture. Now I know a lot of y'all people, you may not go out in the pasture very often, you may not go rope something, you may go trail ride. If you got to step off your horse, you can always use a set of hobbles to keep your horse tied in there to the ground. Another thing that's really beneficial to having a horse hobble broke is your horse has to learn, in order to get out of these, they've got to learn to trust you. And that they know that you're the one who gets them out of the situation that they're in. Now, I mean, in situation, it's not a bad situation. It's just a training technique. It's a patience technique for a horse to learn to stand. But one of the greatest things about having a hobble broke horse is if you've got your horse turned out to the pasture, he might go over there and step in a fence. He might step in a hole, and they feel that pressure and they want to pull away, but they're used to the hobbles and they've been hobble broke. They may just stand there and wait for you. And a key example of that is we had a horse here that we trained last year, or earlier this year, sorry, and that horse got hung up in a fence. And the owner went out there and was like, where's my horse? And when she looked across the pasture, the horse was just standing there. Well, that horse had gone in there and got hung up in that wire, and that horse stood there until she was able to come get the horse out. And that was just a key, just a key feature of the hobbles. They learn to stand, they learn to wait until we can come and get them out of that situation. So I'm gonna go through the first steps and what I do to hobble break my horses. First off, the hobbles that I use, they're just an old lead rope. I tie the end in a knot, and that's all I use. I don't use any big fancy leather ones or anything like that. And how I measure them is if I can get it around my waist and lock it, that's how I like the length of my hobbles right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and set these on the ground here, and I'm just gonna start working with my colt. I may lunge my colt around a little bit. I may just start working my horse a little bit to have him, get rid of some energy. It all depends on the horse. He's actually pretty mellow right here. He's actually ready to go ahead and try to hobble, but we're gonna go ahead and take the steps as if this horse wasn't nice and calm right now. So I'm just maybe gonna lunge him around a little bit and work him, and then we'll go to that hobble. I'm gonna work this horse along the fence over here. I very rarely turn my colts loose whenever I work in a round pen. Anybody can turn their colt loose and chase them. If you can work your colt on the end of your rope and create that respect between your horse and you, where you don't have to pull or pry or push, it's just going to start teaching them right off the bat. If you work them off of the end of your rope instead of turning them loose, they're going to start to learn that respect right off the bat. Like I said, it's a personal thing. I hardly ever turn my horse loose in here because I'm not just going to chase. I'm always going to work on control of my horse's body. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started here and step to his hip first. to try to stay loose whenever I'm working with lunging. You know, naturally some of these horses are going to pull and push and pry on you. This horse right here has been really smart. This horse really gets the pressure and release. And this is only the second time or maybe third time I've actually had this colt in here. But the reason why I'm working with this colt now, it's yearling year, is so whenever its 2-year-old year comes around, it's just going to make my job that much easier. Now whenever I stop my horse in this round pen, I like to stop along the fence. I like to try to keep them as straight as possible. And I'll set this flag out in front of them to kind of stop that forward momentum, and I'll say whoa real loud. So we'll give it a try. Just keep pushing to that hip. You want to stay behind that shoulder. You want to kind of stay in that cinch area there. That's kind of where you want to keep your body position. Oh. So it's not perfect. His hip is kicked out towards me a little bit, which is fine. I mean, we haven't only done this maybe a couple times. Now I'm going to push him the other way. Good. I don't need a big fancy rollback or anything like that. I may do this a couple times and then we'll go to starting to work on hobbling. I don't need my horse to go super fast right now. Slower is better. Oh. Good. One more time and then we'll work on that hobble. Oh. Okay, he didn't stop there. That's all right. I'm going to push him through. I'm going to make him work a little bit. Oh. Good. All right. So now we're going to work on hobbling. I'm not going to use my flag on this horse to rub its front legs. Most horses I do. This horse particular, I'm not going to. He's really reactive to this flag, which I like. And I want to keep him reactive to this flag because that's going to translate to whenever I start working him on a cutting flag. And most of my horses I do, I'll rub their bodies, their front legs with this flag. But I kind of want to keep this guy a little bit snappier, if that makes sense. So today I'm going to be using my lead rope. But if you have a horse at home and you have a flag, it's a great way to rub their front legs and get them used to having those front legs touched and loved on. Okay, so the first things that I do when hobble breaking my colt is I am not gonna just lean right down and go to loving on their legs. These legs right here, they are a defense mechanism tool for a horse. And if a horse has not been used to having their front feet picked up or been brushed on their legs or anything like that, out of reaction, a horse can just paw right off the bat. Now, I don't expect him to do that, but I'm gonna act like it. I'm always gonna keep it in the back of my mind. So one of the first things I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the end of this lead rope and I'm just gonna go on them front legs. Now I'm not just gonna sit there and focus on these front legs the whole time. I'm gonna go ahead and rub those back legs too. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it over the top of him. We're not just hobble breaking, we're getting this horse desensitized. Now he's making me look like a rock star right now, this little guy. He's incredibly smart, he's incredibly easygoing, and he's been handled since he was, born. So, like I said, he's wanting to move away from that lead rope right now. That's fine. That's all right. He thinks we're wanting to lunge. It's all right. There we go. He stood still. Just going to keep rubbing those legs. Rubbing those legs. Pretty simple. Again, why I'm doing this here is I want him having that feeling, used to having that feeling of something touching his front legs right there, and his back legs. All right, we'll kind of speed this up a little bit because he's pretty easy going. I was hoping to have a little bit more, fight or flight type reaction out of this guy, but I guess that's that good breeding in him. All right, so the next step that I'm going to do in hobble breaking my colt, when I hobble break, I stand close to a horse. So the first time that I put my hobbles on, my shoulder is usually against that horse's shoulder. So if he jumps, he bumps me and pushes me out of the way. You don't want to sit out here like this, because if that horse jumps, he's going to jump right on top of you. So whenever you're working with your horse and doing these kind of things, the first saddlings, the first, stepping up or whatever, the closer to your horse, the better. So if they do jump, they push you out of the way. Because if you start sitting back like this, when you're working your horse, I'm in a key spot right there to get kicked. I'm in a key spot right here. If that horse jumps, I have nothing to push against, and that horse could land on top of me. So what I do now is I just take the end of this lead rope, and I flip it around that other leg right there, and I just kind of get close, and I grab, just like that. Now I'm just going to start doing stuff like this right here. Getting that horse desensitized and used to my rope being around his leg. Now if I do one side, I need to do the other side. So I'm on this side right now. Now I'm going to move to this side over here. There we go. Good. All right. Now I'm just going to kind of walk out of it. Now I'll just do a single leg. Again, I'm going to come right here. Just going to do that single leg now. I may pick up with it. May pick that foot up. Good. I'm going to pick it up, maybe pull it out, let him set it down. Pick it up, let him set it down. Now he's starting to feel the pressure of that rope. We'll do it to that other leg. Remember, close. There we go. Man, this little guy's making me look like a rock star. I promise I hadn't done it with this guy yet. Good. Good. Good horse. Okay. So that's a step that you can keep working on with your horse. This horse right here has made it incredibly easy for me. He hadn't fought me. He hadn't jumped away. You may have a horse at home that, heck, you may spend 30 minutes doing that right there until he gets used to it or she gets used to it. It all just depends on the horse. All right, so now we're going to slip our hobbles on for the first time. All right, try to face you the best I can here. All right. I'm going to do the same thing I did with that rope a while ago. Just going to go up underneath. See how close I am to my horse? And I'm just going to take a few wraps right here. I'll push my horse a little bit over. Get him close. There we go. Okay. Good horse. Right now he has no idea what's happened. He has no idea that he's hobbled. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently untrack this horse. And I'm going to let him figure it out. Just let him figure it out. Good. Let him know it's all right. You got to be careful doing this, guys. They can rear up. They can learn to travel with them. They can still hurt you and they can still hurt themselves. It's all about just taking the time and doing it right and doing it slow. This horse, again, has made it look incredibly easy. This is the first time for this horse to be in this situation. It's all right if he wants to fight it. I'm just going to sit here and let him figure it out. Good. I'll keep untracking them a little bit. There we go. Now this horse is not going to learn how to stand perfectly still the first time that we hobble, okay? One of the main reasons I hobble is the first saddling. I like to have hobbles. The first time I ask my horses to flex, I may put some hobbles on them. And you know, whenever I do saddle this colt for the first time, and I do pull that cinch tight over here, he's gonna have the hobbles on, and he's probably gonna wanna try to move around and dance and whatnot like that, but this is the best way for me to keep control of my horse in a safe way. And then they're gonna learn whenever they have these hobbles on and they wanna move, they're gonna learn it's a lot of work. It's not comfortable, it's not easy. It's all right, I'm just gonna let him do his thing. Let him do his thing. Good. He relaxed right there. Good. I'm just gonna untrack him a little bit, and it's all right. I'm not teaching him to move with the hobbles. I'm just teaching him to get used to that feel in there. So maybe I'll just untrack him a tick. Good. Maybe we'll just see if he wants to flex a little bit right here. Good, look at there. He knows that his feet are tied now. Nice. Good job, Pete. Good job. Okay, if he wants to move like that, I'm gonna make him move. I'm gonna make him move. Once he stands still and relax, then I'm gonna reward him. Good. They go to moving around like that, we'll make the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy. Right here, we're super relaxed. All right, guys, that is a crash course in hobbling your colt. I'll try to come back next time with maybe a little bit different horse. All the colts that we have in right now in training are already hobble broke, and so it wouldn't be very fair to show you one of those horses. So I thought I'd show you Pete today, but he's taking it like a champ that he is. Hopefully he's going to be a champ. Hopefully he's going to be a superstar cutting horse. But just because he's going to be a cutting horse doesn't mean that he needs to learn how to respect hobbles. You know, he may not be a cutting horse. He may go to be a ranch horse, may not make that cutting horse. And if we sell him, it's just gonna make him that more valuable. The great thing about these hobbles too, is it gets them so used to having their front feet messed with and touched. And again, like I said, if this horse is out in the pasture or in the pen and he gets his foot hung up in something, he knows that I'm going to be the one who comes and gets him out of this situation. So now I'm going to take these hobbles off. I'm going to show you how I do it. Again, I'm putting my body up against his body, because if he wants to jump, it's going to push me out. Here we go. They usually take a big step after the first time. There it is. He did. He took that big step. So, guys, if you have any questions, hit me up. I'll try to answer them the best way I can. But this is one of the very first things I do whenever a colt comes into this round pen, is they get hobble broke. And they get hobbled every day until they learn how to stand still during those saddling times, during those, you know, little flexing times. Good. Good. It's just going to teach them patience. Some of us as trainers need patience. So that's a whole nother story right there. Having patience as a trainer. But if we can teach our horses patience, then we have a better shot at being patient with our horses. Guys, before I leave you, I wanted to tell you to check out a few of our sponsors. There is Team Equine. Check out those saddle pads. We'll come to you each video with a different sponsor. This one is Team Equine. Check their saddle pads out. If you go on their website, you can put in my code PSR30 and you'll get a hefty discount. Team Equine saddle pads. Other than that, have a great day, guys.